I don't even know where to start, but I guess the easiest place is the beginning. For as long as I can remember, my older sister Emma, 30F, has been my parents' pride and joy, the golden child who could do no wrong. I, 28F, was everything else. The difficult one, the rebellious one, the ungrateful one. I spent my childhood and teen years being compared to Emma in every conceivable way. Emma was the straight-A student, the homecoming queen, the one who got into her dream college on a full scholarship. I was the kid who struggled with math, the one who worked 2 part-time jobs in high school because I didn't want to ask my parents for money, and the one who got told at family gatherings that I should try harder, like Emma. It wasn't even subtle. Emma would fail a test and my parents would console her, buy her ice cream, and remind her how amazing she was. I'd bring home a B+ and get a lecture about how I wasn't living up to my potential. If Emma forgot to do her chores, my mom would do them for her. If I forgot, why are you so lazy? I used to think I was imagining it, but as I got older, friends and even extended family started to notice. My Aunt May once pulled me aside during Christmas and whispered, "I don't know how you put up with it." I laughed it off, because what else could I do? Confront my parents? That would have gone about as well as you'd expect. Fast forward to present. Emma is getting married in 3 months. I knew this day would come, and I also knew it would be a circus because, of course, Emma's wedding was always going to be the event of the decade in our family. What I didn't expect was to get a call from my mom last week that made my jaw hit the floor. "Mom, sweetie, Emma's wedding is going to be huge, and we want it to be perfect for her. She deserves the best. We were wondering if you'd be able to contribute." Me: "Sure, I can pitch in a little. What do you need?" Mom: "We were thinking you could give $15,000. I nearly dropped my phone. $15,000? Mom, that's more than I make in 3 months. Mom sighed, like I was being difficult on purpose. "Emma's your only sister. She's done so much for you. We thought you'd want to help her have the wedding she deserves." Done so much for me? Are we talking about the same Emma who used to hide my clothes so I'd be late for school? The Emma who still, to this day, introduces me as her little sister who never moved out of her comfort zone. I told my mom there was no way I could give that kind of money, and even if I could, I wouldn't. She got really quiet and then said, "I'm disappointed in you, but I'm not surprised. You've always been selfish." That one hurt. The fallout since that phone call has been insane. Emma called me crying, saying I was ruining her wedding. My dad sent me a long text about family unity and how money isn't everything. My mom has been posting passive-aggressive Facebook statuses about the importance of sisterly love. I'm getting calls from relatives I haven't spoken to in years, all saying some version of "It's Emma's big day. Can't you just do this one thing for her?" I'm so angry I can barely see straight. Here's the kicker. Emma and her fiancé are both doing very well financially. She's a lawyer, and he's in tech. Their combined income is easily triple mine. They are having a 250-person wedding at an upscale venue with a live band, custom floral arrangements, and a 5-course dinner. I don't think it's unreasonable to assume they could afford to cover the cost themselves. But of course, because Emma wants it, everyone else has to make sacrifices. I'll admit, part of me wonders if I'm being petty. Maybe I should just grit my teeth, write a check for what I can afford, and call it a day. But then I remember all the years of being treated like an afterthought, all the times my parents went above and beyond for Emma while I was left to fend for myself. When I graduated college, without any financial help from my parents, I got a congratulations text. When Emma graduated, they rented out a banquet hall and threw her a massive party. When I got my first apartment, my mom complained about the neighborhood and asked if I really thought this was the best I could do. When Emma bought her first house, they gifted her $20,000 for renovations. It's not even about the money. It's about the principle. I haven't responded to any of their messages yet. I've been dodging calls because I know if I pick up, I'm going to say something I can't take back. Part of me wants to just block them all and be done with it, but I also know that's not a realistic long-term solution. I talked to a close friend about this, and she told me something that really stuck. You don't owe anyone financial ruin for the sake of family. I think she's right, but the guilt trip is working. I feel like the bad guy, even though I know this isn't fair. I don't know what to do. I'm posting here because I need advice. Am I wrong for refusing to give my sister money for her wedding? Should I try to make peace? Or is it time to accept that my family will always see me as the problem, no matter what I do? I didn't plan to see my family again so soon. But last weekend my parents insisted on having a family meeting to resolve our differences about Emma's wedding. I didn't want to go. Every bone in my body told me it would be a disaster. But my best friend convinced me that sometimes it's better to face things head-on than keep dodging calls. So I went. When I got there, the atmosphere was tense, like they were all waiting for me to grovel. Emma was already sitting at the dining table, perfectly put together in an expensive-looking dress. Mom had that tight smile she uses when she's trying to hide her anger, and Dad was pacing. "Thank you for coming," Mom said, in a tone that clearly meant, "You'd better fix this." I barely sat down before Emma launched into her speech. "OP, I can't believe you're doing this to me. This is the happiest time of my life, and instead of supporting me, you're making it all about you. Why can't you just be happy for me for once?" I stayed calm. "Emma, I am happy for you, but I can't afford to give you $15,000. That's not reasonable." She scoffed. "You make decent money. You're just choosing not to help. It's not about the amount, it's about the principle. Family supports each other." That's when Dad chimed in. "Your sister has always been there for you. She deserves this. If the roles were reversed, she'd do the same for you." I laughed, not a happy laugh, but the kind of laugh you let out when something is so absurd you can't help yourself. "Really? When? Exactly. Has Emma ever been there for me? When she called me a failure at Thanksgiving? When she told my college boyfriend that I wasn't serious relationship material?" Mom slammed her hand on the table. "Enough. You're dredging up the past. Emma is your sister. Blood is thicker than water. This is not about old grudges. It's about her wedding." I took a deep breath. "You know what? Fine. Let's talk about the present. Emma, you and your fiancé make over 3 times what I do. Why am I being asked to bankroll your wedding?" Emma rolled her eyes. "Because you're family, and because Mom and Dad already help with the down payment on our house, so they can't contribute much more. Everyone's doing what they can. Why can't you?" It hit me then. My parents had given her money for the house. Again, I had suspected, but hearing it out loud was like a punch in the gut. "Wait, they gave you money for your house? How much?" Emma hesitated for a split second, then said, "That's not important." I turned to my parents. "How much?" Dad sighed. "It's not your concern, OP. We helped both of you in different ways." "No, you didn't," I shot back. "You've never given me a cent. I worked 3 jobs to get through college while Emma got a fully paid tuition and now a down payment on a house. And now you expect me to cough up $15,000 for her wedding? Do you even hear yourselves?" Mom got that pinched look she gets when she's about to cry, but instead of softening, she hardened. "You've always been jealous of your sister. We've done our best for both of you, but Emma just makes better choices. You can't keep blaming us for your own failures." That was the moment I realized nothing I said would ever matter. They had their version of reality, and I was the problem child who needed to get over it. I stood up. "I'm not giving you the money, and if you keep harassing me about it, I'm done. Don't call, don't text, don't show up at my apartment. I'm serious." Emma's face twisted into something ugly. "You're pathetic. No wonder you're single and stuck in that crappy apartment. I feel sorry for you." I didn't respond. I just walked out. Since that meeting, my phone has been blowing up. I've gotten at least 30 texts from my mom, ranging from guilt trips, "We raised you better than this," to outright threats, "Don't expect any help from us in the future." Dad sent me a long email about respecting family obligations and how I was embarrassing them in front of relatives. Emma, of course, took to Instagram to post a cryptic story about snakes in the grass with a caption about how some people can't stand to see others happy. The only person on my side is my Aunt May, who called me after hearing what happened. She said, "Honey, you don't owe them a damn thing. I've watched them favor Emma your whole life. They are reaping what they sowed. It felt good to hear, but the guilt is still eating at me. And then, something weird happened. Yesterday, I got a message from Emma's fiancé, Ryan. We've never been close, so I was surprised. He asked if we could meet for coffee. I almost said no, but curiosity got the better of me. We met up this morning, and he seemed nervous. After a few minutes of small talk, he said, I know there's been drama with the wedding. I just wanted to say, you're not crazy. I've seen how your family treats you compared to Emma. It's not fair. I didn't know what to say, so I just nodded. Then he leaned in and lowered his voice. There's something you should know about Emma. Something your parents don't know. I think it's only a matter of time before it comes out, and when it does, things are going to get messy. I asked him what he meant, but he hesitated. It's not my place to tell you. Just be prepared. Emma isn't who they think she is. Now my mind is spinning. What could he possibly mean? And why would he warn me? I'm torn between staying out of it and digging deeper. Part of me wants to know. Part of me thinks it's none of my business. All I know is, for the first time, I feel like maybe, just maybe, the golden child pedestal Emma's been on her whole life is starting to crack. After meeting Ryan, Emma's fiancé, my mind wouldn't stop racing. What secret was he hinting at? Why had Emma spent her whole life wrapped in this perfect, untouchable image? And what was she hiding beneath the surface? I spent the next few days avoiding my family's messages and digging quietly. I reached out to a few people I trusted who knew Emma in college and law school. Nothing concrete, just whispers and vague mentions of rumors about manipulations, backstabbing, and financial shady dealings I had never suspected. Then, last night, I got a call from someone I never expected, Emma's ex-best friend, Laura. She asked to meet me urgently. We met at a quiet cafe downtown, and Laura looked nervous but determined. She told me things I wish I hadn't heard. Emma's not the perfect sister your parents think she is, she said. She's been manipulating them for years. She played the golden child role perfectly to get what she wanted. But it's all a facade. She went on to explain that Emma had been involved in some questionable financial moves, borrowing money from friends, promising repayment, and then cutting them off. Emma also allegedly convinced her parents to give her the down payment for the house under false pretenses, telling them she'd pay it back quickly, which never happened. Lara looked me dead in the eyes and said, She's been lying to everyone, even Ryan. I was stunned. All this time, I'd been cast as the villain, while Emma got to be the shining star. But now I was starting to see cracks in that shine. That same night, I confronted Emma over text, cautiously at first, asking if what Laura said was true. No reply. The next day, I got a blistering message. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm sick of you trying to ruin my life. You're jealous and pathetic. Stop contacting me. It was like she snapped into the perfect golden child mask again, innocent, hurt, and victimized. But I wasn't done. I decided to talk to Ryan again. This time, I was more direct. Tell me everything you know, I demanded. Ryan sighed and spilled the truth. Emma had been juggling debts, hiding financial problems, and even using family favors to cover holes in her finances. She hadn't told her parents the whole story because she wanted to keep up appearances. Emma's afraid the truth will come out, Ryan said quietly. If your family finds out, everything she's built will crumble. I couldn't believe it. The golden child was a carefully crafted illusion, one that cost her family's trust and money. Then came the hardest part, deciding what to do with this information. I debated telling my parents, hoping they would finally see the truth. But then I remembered how fiercely they had defended Emma, and how quickly they blamed me for everything. Would they even believe me? Or would I be cast out completely? I also worried about Ryan. He was caught in the middle and seemed genuinely torn. I didn't want to make things worse for him. After a lot of thinking, I chose to send an anonymous letter to my parents, outlining Emma's financial deceptions and manipulation. I made sure not to mention my name. I just wanted them to know the truth. The fallout was immediate and brutal. My parents confronted Emma, who denied everything, cried, and accused them of betrayal. The perfect family facade shattered in front of relatives and friends. Emma lashed out at me publicly on social media, calling me a liar and a troublemaker. But for the first time, a few relatives started questioning the family narrative. My parents, for the first time, looked conflicted. They didn't know who to believe. And me? I'm exhausted but strangely relieved. For years, I felt like I was invisible or blamed for everything wrong. Now, even if my family fractures, I know I'm not the villain. I'm rebuilding my life on my terms. No more guilt. No more pretending. I don't know if Emma and I will ever have a real relationship, but I'm done being the scapegoat. It's been about 3 months since I sent that anonymous letter exposing Emma's secrets. The dust has mostly settled, but the fallout is still very much part of my life. My parents are different now. The unwavering support they once showed Emma has cracked. Mom's face often looks tired, like she's carrying the weight of realizing she was blind to the truth. Dad hasn't said much, but I see the pain in his eyes when our family gatherings happen. Neither has reached out to me directly since the confrontation, and I'm not sure when or if that will change. Emma? She's gone radio silent with our family. She moved out of the house they bought, and from what I hear through relatives, she's struggling financially and socially. The golden child crown slipped off, and no amount of social media posts can fix that. The relatives who once shunned me have started reaching out, cautiously. A couple even apologized for siding blindly with Emma before. It feels surreal, like I'm waking up from a long nightmare. The hardest part, honestly, was dealing with my own feelings. For so long, I internalized my family's favoritism as a reflection of my worth. I believed their constant criticism meant I was less than. Now, I'm learning that none of that was about me. It was about their own fears, their need for control, and Emma's manipulations. Therapy has helped a lot. Talking through years of pain and guilt with a professional has given me tools to rebuild my self-esteem. I'm focusing on my career, my friendships, and my independence. Interestingly, Ryan reached out to me again a few weeks ago. He said he's broken up with Emma. He apologized for not telling me everything sooner and admitted he felt trapped in a web of lies. We've started to talk, carefully, as allies rather than adversaries. Emma's absence is still a hollow space in the family, but it's no longer an unbearable weight on my shoulders. I won't pretend everything is perfect. My parents' silence still stings. The holidays this year will be different, quieter, more awkward. But for the first time, I'm hopeful rather than defeated. I finally get to write my own story without having to compete for validation. And maybe, just maybe, someday my family will see me not as the problem child, but as someone who found strength when everything else fell apart. If you relate to this story or have your own family drama, comment below. I'd love to hear your experience.